All right, folks, here we go. We're at game number 51 in the book. All right, game number 51. This time, Morphy has the white pieces. This is the third match game against Anderson, held on December 22nd, 1858, and he launches the e-pawn. No big surprise, right? Here comes Anderson, e5. The knights come out. And look at this, Morphy with the Ruy Lopez. We just looked at it. But Morphy had black, so now he's turning the tables. He's throwing the Lopez at Anderson, see how he handles it. And he brings out the knight to F6, striking at the E4 pawn. And Morphy, look at this, D4, very aggressive. Morphy striking at the E5 pawn, right? So anyway, it says here the footnote, the present game is the only example which we have of Morphy's treatment of the Lopez when met by the Berlin defense. Okay, that's with the other knight coming out like this, and usually you see, well, I'm not even sure here. What do they say? They say he's playing D4 is seldom adopted now in master play, being considered productive with correct play on both sides of no more than a level game. Okay, so anyway, look at this now. Here comes Anderson taking the pawn with the knight, with the queen knight, capturing the pawn on D4. Here we got another note. This, however, is not good. Knight takes pawn is better, and pawn takes pawn better still, the old master's note. All right. So look at this though. Let's go over these. Now, something like this, you take let's put the engine on. Watch this now. Your castle, right, folks? Okay, he takes the D pawn. Now the E file's open, the king file, folks. Rook over your castle for a reason. You get that rook in the game. Pinning that knight. Okay, now if you play something like this, D5, knight captures on D4, and now there's pressure on this pinned knight on C6, right? But very, very crazy, double-edged game. We went over this in one of the other games going back a bit. I forget the number, but there was Morphy played, he had the black pieces, and he played D7. Just supporting his knight that's under attack. Because you got something that's like this that is threatened. Let's say you throw a dumb move, right? And you got this type of idea, tactical threat, where you win the exchange, you see? You win the exchange, or all right, anyway. You got other moves too, right? But, because the knight's pinned over there on E4, so this might be even stronger. Look at this, I didn't even go over. You're protecting that knight, then you take your... say if you save your rook, you say, hey, he could have grabbed the exchange. Yeah, but now look with check. Look at that, he sacked this guy. What happens if he moves, folks? Look, if he moves, well, now it's a discovery, right? You protect your bishop with the knight. He's got to go back. Now you take with check. He's gonna lose big time here. Look at this. Now he's got no squares except here. He's setting up mate. Bishop to F4 is going to be mate, folks. Look at this. He tries to stop it like this. Right? Look, for instance, right there. There you go. Checkmate. And he's made it in the center of the board. So he's bringing the queen. Now, what if he did this to try to control F4, right? All right, you bring the queen. Now, what is he? He's making an escape square. You bring it up anyway he takes. You take with the queen now. I mean, come on, folks, right? We're just having fun now. We're just, how many ways can you win, right? How many ways can you win? There you go, right? Look how they dragged the king out. They dragged him right out, and they beheaded him right there in the square. You know, I'll tell you, it was an ugly sight. Now, obviously, you know, this is just one of the many ways. I mean, it's so tactical, so many traps here. You got the king in the center of the board, right? But the basic idea is all stemming from this. Can you believe it? you're taking, you're winning the exchange is the, is the whole deal. So this is even better. Most people right away, boom, they grab the exchange, and they're up, right? They're up. Look, you actually win a rook at this point. Am I not mistaken here? Right? You got this bishop he grabbed the rook and he's out the door now. All right, there you go. You attack the 2. Look, double attack. Knight still pinned on e4. This is what you got to worry about with the open e-file. Okay? So there you go. You're up a rook, right? And some pawns. But the point is, or a pawn, I should say. But here's the thing now. Easier said than done, because after knight takes, we threw in the silly move h6, right? Just to show what could happen with what's being threatened. So obviously now you got Morphy playing bishop d6, okay? And here in the notes there was this move. Shredder found it. Crazy, because now if you're taking, hoping to get your double attack and winning the exchange, right? They go for this. Look, they don't even take back the knight. They come in with this, or you bring look at Shredder. I don't know. He likes this move too. Coming in with the queen. I mean, it's double-edged. It's double-edged, folks. You got to be, real brave to play like this. Both sides are going at it. I mean, the knight's going to move with a discovery. You see this, folks? The white knight on c6. So black's got to play some very forcing moves here, because at any moment this is coming, and I don't know what it leads to, but you got to always be aware of those. Oh, look at this. You take, right? He takes back. The queen is protecting d8, mate, right? The queen is protecting there. But look at this. You do it now. Shredder sees it. Look. Now you're taking with check, folks. You're taking with check, right? Already decides to block. Well, you're picking up the bishop down here. Very crazy. Who knows how else this could go, right? I mean, white ends up having, look at this, folks. He's got the knight and the dark square bishop for a rook. And then you got black having 7 pawns to white's 5, right? So who knows, right? It could go anyway. Anyway, it's under 1. See the evaluation? And if you notice this, like up until this point right here, when black takes the bishop out, it's just like no holds barred now. Now it's no one's really the scale hasn't tipped one way or the other yet. Once this goes, then he could take down here with check. Maybe he can bring. Maybe this is better. You let the engine run. Who knows? But what we looked at, king going to f1. Maybe it's better because now he stays. We saw him recapturing that other line. Eventually, when they're all getting traded off, he gets to grab this guy. So it's just one way it could go. Maybe the queen is better over here. But anyway, this knight is pinned on e4. You'll see that it's a common theme, right? Now, Shredder, here we go again. Look, another variation. Instead of d5, right, we could get f5. And, I mean, okay, you take back knight on e4. The black knight's still pinned. Okay, he takes over here. Is that what he wants to do? All right, you bring the queen right up in the game. Now, this guy can't come out yet because g7 is attacked. He hits your bishop. All right, you hit the knight. You're going to win it with f3. He takes here. We take there. We're going to take on f5 with check. He can't take because then we take on e4 with check. Right? I was saying we're gonna take over here with check, discovery, right? So okay, so he plays this, and look, he just gives the pawn. Queen comes out. All right, isolated pawn on f6, weakness. Knight leaps with a tempo, trying to win the b pawn. All right, he's pinned. Look at this. He goes for it anyway. He takes down here. You get the check. You win back the exchange. Okay. All right, he's going to go here. Well, now you're going to leap out, and now the rook's going to move again. All right, so who knows? Just one way it could go, folks. He's down. White's down the exchange, but he's got the more active pieces. We got black has an isolated D pawn, isolated F pawn. White has the one isolated E pawn. Who knows? Who knows? It could go so many ways, right? The game of chess, but this is just, you know, the beautiful thing about this game, right? It could be all a whole different story. With one move on either side could change the whole story, right? So we've seen things like this in variations on previous games when the Lopez was involved, and we saw something where Morphy, like I was saying, Morphy had the he had the black pieces, and on D5 to protect the knight. Knight takes, and then the bishop was here. That was Morphy's. That's how he handled it. Morphy handled the black pieces against the Lopez in this line. But anyway, okay. Now you also had this variation. Well, you can see Shredder likes to push, hit the knight on F6. Now the bishop in the Lopez is on B5. Not on C4, so we've seen ideas like this. You hit my knight on F6, I'll hit your bishop on C4, right? But it's not there, it's not available. So he plays the knight here, you know. You take back. Let's see, you take this. Hold on, the Russians, folks. The Russians are meddling again. They're trying to come in on the lesson, trying to steal our secret lines that we're coming up with. Look at this. So now the queen comes down, attacking the knight on D4. So who knows, right? Just one way it could go. Looks pretty even, right? We had more interesting lines. Let me see. The knight takes over here, and he brings that out. Okay. Doing it again. So I think we had something like this last time, but I guess that's not good, huh? That immediately jumped the evaluation up to 2.5. Look at that move. That's a bad move. I'm missing some. Oh, folks, I see it now. Look, this comes out. My mistake. Look, knight to B3, attacking this guy. And if he moves, right, we're winning the knight on this guy's hanging, this guy's hanging. You got two hanging minor pieces, right? All right, you're going to play him. You're going to either capture the bishop or the knight on E4. All right, so he ends up, the knight on D5, right here, D5 knight, I'm sorry. So he's got to at least get a pawn for it. There you go, right? So that's losing. That's why it jumped. My mistake, folks. All right, the bishop doesn't come out there. Very easy, though, to make these slip-ups, right? Against lower-rated players, I make them all the time. You know, I miss a lot of stuff. All right, so there's also this move, too. Knight to E4, and we get similar moves as in the other game, right? You can take, all right, he pushes here, you take, he opens the diagonal for the light square bishop on C8. You attack the knight. He protects. All right, here we go. We're attacking the bishop pulls back. He's under the gun, so he pulls back. Here we go, right? And it's a game. Who knows, right? Who knows? Black has the bishop here. And, you know, but he's got the doubled C pawns, right? Common thing, right? He's got the bishop here, but he's got the doubled C pawns. Happens in the Lopez all the time, right? Okay. This is just one way it could go. Now, Anderson, like we said, he takes with the queen knight, all right? And here we go. It's saying this, however, is not good. All right. Morphy taking the knight. There we go. And here it is. He doesn't take the pawn. He pushes over here, hitting that knight on F6. And Anderson plays the C pawn, hitting the bishop. Now watch this, folks. Anderson follows the Hanbach variation and comes to grief in it. Max Lang points out the irony of the German master failing in a line of play analyzed in Germany. That Morphy knew exactly what he was doing is clear from the quotation below. Note on move 12. Okay? Knight to d5 or to e4 is better here. Okay, why? Because Morphy castles, okay? And what they're saying is, instead of the pawn coming up, knight to d5 or even to d4 like we saw before, right? Look, we take here, we're attacking the knight, right? Okay, he's protected by his bishop down there, so he moves to c5, we castle. Okay, he hits the bishop now. Okay, he wants to draw him back here. I think the line I looked at was when the bishop comes to c4, he hits it, take en passant, queen takes, right? And now if you do something like this, well, he blocks with the light square bishop, okay? And you get a little better if they had the queen, let's see. Yeah, I guess that's good, right? Queen checking. That way you don't want to trade your queens, right? Now you're threatening. Now black can't castle or he loses a piece. You see, these are the ideas you gotta always try in the open game, folks. This is Morphy's bread and butter. You gotta always try to keep that enemy king from castling. You know, you get your king to safety quickly, and you're trying to keep the moves make sense because they have the logic of trying to keep black from castling. That's what this move is all about. If he castles, he loses a piece, so he can't do it. Okay, so rook to e1 prevents black from castling, so that's why they played the bishop, or now he considers playing the knight better, right? What else can we do? Now he's going to probably castle, right? So at that point, I don't know. It's a game. It's even Steven at this point. So they're saying knight here. Maybe coming to e4. Let's see. He gets the castle, see? And it's pretty even. He gets away. But it's even. He's not down any. White's not down any material. So black's doing okay. So, like they said, the old masters say, knight to e4, it's fine. You got knight to d5 is what they're saying also. Okay? So we gotta, let me just find my place here. I lost my place, forgive me. Alright, here we go. So, yeah. Knight to d5 or e4 is better here. Okay, look at this. You take. Okay, he hits you. Alright, you pull back. Goes after that guy. You castle, and you see he gets the bishops now. He gets the bishops. Alright, he goes there. And he got a game, right? He got a game. It's pretty even, though. It's pretty even, so white doesn't come out with much of an advantage. See, this is what they're talking about. This is what the old master said in the other note. You know, pawn to this move by Morphy, pawn to d4, the old masters, you know, they say, seldom adopted now in master play, being considered productive with correct play on both sides of no more than a level game. And the engine here is supporting it. Okay? But when Morphy pushes, he could have leaped the knight here or there, and he would have had a good game. Okay, but he plays. He hits the bishop. Okay, Morphy castling. He's leaving the bishop there. So Anderson takes it. He takes it, but here it is. Here's another note, folks. Anderson perhaps expected bishop he expected instead of castling. Bishop to c4, to which he could have replied, d5, folks, king-pawn games. I said it once, I'll say it again. You're trying in king-pawn games. If black could safely get in d5, he equalizes. And this is what it's all about. So you could understand Anderson figuring, oh, if he backs off, I'm going to hit him with d5 and I'll have a good game, right? So, and Morphy doesn't do it. He just castles, get it? He castles. Now that kind of surprised Anderson. So now it says his next move is inferior, taking the bishop, right? That's what he ends up doing. It's inferior to knight to d5. That's what he should have played now, similar to what we looked at, you know. It goes when might follow queen takes pawn, the knight drops here, hitting the bishop, right? All right, this is the line I saw. They give bishop to c4. Now the d pawn goes up, and you take on Passant, and he takes back, loving, just trade the queens off. You're playing black, it'll slow the whole game down, and he'll easily be equal with white. But a check with the rook, this is the line I was thinking of before. The knight's on c7 opposed to c5. Okay, so with a rook check, you just block like this, right? So what's better is you see if you check with the rook, the bishop comes out, and you still got this question to answer. Are you going to trade queens or are you going to move, right? Well, if you're going to move, look at this. The check is available on e4. Before in the other variation, the knight's on c5, you can't go to e4. But in this line here, you can, right? Now, why is it better? Because I think in the other line we checked on e3 when the knight was on c5. But that blocks in your bishop on c1. So when you check here and he blocks, right, you bring the bishop, the dark square bishop comes out with tempo. You see? This is Morphy. Wake up, you. I'm talking about tempos. Let me slap you across the face a little bit. You got to wake up, folks. It's the name of the game. This is Morphy we're talking about. Tempos, folks. All right, so he comes here and he attacks your light square bishop. You develop the piece, the knight defending it, okay? And you're threatening to take the knight on c7 with your dark square bishop, okay? But he moves that one. Here you go. You readjust. You go after the queen, right? Now, if he chops that guy off, you open the F file, and you're threatening to take on e6, right? Like just some dumb move. Oh no, it's pinned. Look at this. Look at this. Holy smokes! If he takes, folks, it's me, right? So he just grabs right in your face. It's like he grabs the lollipop right out of your hands. Look at this. He just grabs it. Give me that. He takes it right out, right from your hands. And he can't do anything about it. And then he castles, and then you go in with check. You take that guy. All right, so now you're up a piece. Okay, there you go. But we threw in h6. We threw in h6 just to show you the threat. Okay, so he goes back with the queen. So there's no shenanigans on f7. Okay, now what do you think, folks? What do we say? What do we say? We're talking Morphy. You got to keep that enemy king from castling. He wants to go long. Look, let's do a dumb move. Look at this. Right away. The engine doesn't even have to think. What does it hit? 1,000,000 moves a second? Boom! We don't even have to calculate all those other wasted moves. We know the principles, folks. On a dumb move like h3, white would blow it. You give black the opportunity to get castled, right? Now, obviously, I don't know. Is this better for black? Already it's going through the other moves. But understand the move for white here. No doubt about it on the board. You bring your other rook into the game, right? Don't move this one. He's already in this, right? We saw on the other line. He's influencing this game down the F file. Bring this guy. He's not doing anything, right? Boom. Keep that king from castling. All right, he trades there. Now you don't want to take here because he'll slow down the whole game by getting the queens off, right? You lose the queen. What am I talking about? You're slowing the game. You might as well just get up and leave, right? You lost. You lost. All right, so anyway, you take back with the queen, of course, right? And he wants to trade. He wants to trade. No way. No way. Okay, here we go, right? He can't develop this guy out because then you come down on h7. Okay, we've seen that in other games. So then he has to play this move to stop that. And you see how white is slowly building off of these useless moves, those very, very useless moves like the pawn move to f6. You know, he'd love to get the bishop out and castle short, but he can't leave the g-pawn hanging, so he's got to make a dinky move like this. Here comes the rook, ready to pin the queen, right? All right, get out of that scenario. Okay, here we go, down to the 7th, right? Textbook, folks. We trade the queens, true, but now we're going to tear them up on the 7th rank. All right, we get the b-pawn. There you go. All right, good move here. He takes this, busts our pawns. All right, fine. But now it's rook and pawns, right? And our pawns are ugly, you know. Our pawns are ugly after that bishop. After that bishop takes over there. Good move by black. All right, so, you know, black could still maybe hold this due to the weakness of all these, the way the pawns are. Isolated A pawns, we talked about them. Those pawns on the A and H file, when they're doubled, ooh, very ugly. Very ugly. And now you got the isolated C pawn, isolated E pawn. It's a game, folks. It's about a pawn that, right, a +1 to white. You know, like I said, anything 1 and under, it's even. All right. Rook and pawn endgame is very tough. But you see, of course, throughout this whole game, we're just going through it quick. We're blasting through it. There could be better moves along the way. But just understand the moves that are coming, you know, why they're being made. Look at this. Beautiful. You want to pin that guy, right, as an example. Now, maybe you don't trade him off yet. What if you go here? Does he brings that guy down? Then he wins your rook. See that? If we take here, he takes there. See that? Although we do get to play. He's ready to take on e3 with check. So I don't know. Gives him counterplay, right? I didn't go over this, forgive me. I didn't go over this. Maybe you move the knight now. Maybe you move the knight so he doesn't bust up the pawns on your queen side, right? What if you do this, right? He saves his b pawn, but maybe you have more control with that rook. The rook on the 7th rank. Who's to say? It's a game. I don't know. It's a game. Yeah, it still looks pretty even. All right, so anyway. Okay. Some pointers there, here and there, right? You get the point is you get the queen check, and then you get the tempo on the queen. This is how, even if it doesn't work out, this is the principles, you know? This is how you play the knight here. Maybe this is better. Right? I mean, you got to protect that bishop. It's hanging. Okay? Maybe you play this. Who knows? Because if he tries to take now, that bishop's pinned, folks. The bishop's pinned on e6, right? But again, when you play something like this, does he get the castle now? All right, who knows, right? It's a game. It's a game. All right. I didn't look too much at this. This is what the old masters say. Okay, the old masters give this, takes, and they leave it right there. This is where they leave it, you know? So I guess they're right. And I just started to examine it a little further with the engine. Okay, and it likes the tempos. He comes here. Last time he went there. Well, if he goes here, I don't know. Oh, he's hitting B2. See, a little subtle difference. This is the thing. You know, the game of chess, right? It could go so many ways. Now you bring him there, and he gets the castle. And all right, anyway, let's get back. It's a game, right? It's a whole other game. Old Master's recommending that line, okay? But what does Anderson do? What does Anderson do? After Morphy castles, like I said, he takes the bishop. Now, does Morphy grab the knight right away? No. Look at the engine. It knows, folks. It's amazing once again. Morphy, I mean, I don't know. It's like he didn't have a computer back in the day. You know, they weren't invented yet, as far as I know, back in 1858. Right, folks? I don't even think IBM was founded yet. So, I mean, this guy, he's playing these moves. They must have built the computer engine off of Morphy. They must have downloaded all his games into the brain of the computer, and they use it as a basis. I don't know how the heck he all these moves. Shredder copies them, you know. All right, so anyway, shows you how strong Morphy is. I know, all jokes aside, this is what I'm just getting at. You know, how strong Morphy was. Okay, once again, I lost my place in the book. Forgive me. All right, so here we go. So now he brings the bishop out, pinning the knight. The knight's going nowhere. He loses the queen, right, folks? Come on. Dummy up. Dummy up. All right. So he brings the bishop out because here the old masters say pawn to h6 is fatal. All right, let's watch it, folks. This is pretty. Look at this. So you take the knight. Now white's down a piece once once black takes the bishop, but look at what happens. You got the check. All right, you're not going to block with the queen again, right, folks? Why do it? You know what? Take with the bishop because this guy can't move to the light squares, right? And it's all over. Okay, so I mean, even now when if he takes like this, now the game's over, right? Already castles, you take here, big deal. All right, so anyway, we're not going to go into that, right? You gotta laugh. No one's going to block with the queen. All right, you're going to give your bishop back. So now it'll be even, right, when it comes to minor pieces. But look at this. You take with check, king over, and now you take pawn takes pawn check, right? Now, if you take here, look at this move. Queen takes, protecting your pawn on g7, right? And backing it up. So pawn takes rook is the threat, folks, right? And if he tries to save him, folks, it's mate. It's mate. Queen e5 is mate. Look at this. The measly pawn on g7 takes away f8, and the black king is mated. So he has no time to say. If the pawn wasn't on g5, he could maybe move the rook up to save the rook to protect the mate threat. But he can't do it. The g5 pawn's in the way, right? So he gets mated. Boom. Okay. So if he tries to save it, he gets mated, right? What's he going to do, folks? Well, yes, the engine finds it. You play f6 so that you take away the mate and all, but you win the rook back. You win the rook back. You get a queen. All right. The f6 pawn blocks, you know, black could recapture. But even now, folks, the knight comes out, attacking b5. Okay, you're going to maybe even hop the knight to d5 with a check. But I don't know. Let's see. Last time I looked, he protected the pawn. This time he wants to go up. All right, we take there. All right, he's going to develop the rook because here comes the white rook checking on the open e-file. All right, he blocks it. We take. He takes. We get the check. Oh, we definitely have the initiative, right, folks? At this point. All right, we're threatening the light square bishop. It's a check. We're winning it. Oh, okay. It's a fork, folks, right? Because with this check, he can't go down. I mean, if he tries to go here, we just give him the check and make him move over. Oh, it's actually going to be mate. We don't even have to grab the bishop. Look at this. It's mate, right? So he can't protect it in any way. So on this check, when he moves over, we get the knight fork. Alright, he moves there, and we could look. We could simply take. Alright, give check. We can give check first. Alright, he gets out of there. I mean, if we take with the queen, yeah, he trades. Alright, there, it's easy. Now it's easy. Forget about it. He has no counter attack. We got the extra piece, right? The queens are off. We don't have to worry about some kind of crazy, you know, the black queen getting some kind of perpetual check down the road. We just trade them off, and the knight's the extra piece. Easy end game. Right? We're even up a pawn with the knight. Okay, so anyway, there you go. Right, there's an idea how it could go. Alright, so all the way back. These are just some of the lines that crop up. If black was to take, right, if black was to play, h6, the old masters, they knew it, folks. They didn't have to show all that. They just wrote, here, h6 is fatal, right? There you go. They showed it. So what does he do, right? He plays the bishop out. This is the move to make. Okay. Morphy takes his piece back, right? He's down a piece. He recaptures. And he take with the bishop, right? Anderson takes back with the bishop. And now you got the rook giving the check. All right, king over. No castling privileges for black. All right, now he takes over here. Queen recaptures. And here we go. We got a big footnote here now. All right, white to make his 12th move. Okay. Morphy remarks in his notes on this game in the ACM 1859. Let me just look that up again. It's like the American Chess Magazine or something. Right, we got ACM, Chess Monthly. All right. Here's the quotation. It says, up to this move, the game coincides with one played by Lang in his I'm going to butcher this one, folks. Get ready. Hold on to your seats. The Schlock Partien. That distinguished master now played. All right, who cares how I pronounce it here? Let's just take the moves, right? Here we go. The distinguished master now played knight to a3, attack at b5, right? So now black played that, played a6 to protect b5. The queen, threatening mate on e8. Okay, the queen blocked. And then he moved over to d2 with the rook now attacking the queen. Okay, the queen maneuvered over to b6. Here comes the check. Okay, if he moves, it's all over, folks. It's mate, right? Okay, so what does he do? Obviously, he blocks with the pawn. Okay, and now we got the knight. Look at this cute move. Knight to c4, attacking the queen. The queen here, let's trade. Come on, let's trade. I don't think so. Look at this, right in the notes, folks. This is all by Max Lang. Look at this. The knight takes the pawn. If he takes your queen, it's mate down here. Look at this one. That's one for the record books, right? Look at this. All right, beautiful. So what does he have to do? He has to stop the mate, right? I mean, what at this point, let's see. Knight takes pawn. Right, yeah, they just leave it. They give queen takes queen, rook down, mate. All right? So, I mean, if you look at the engine, he's trying to block the mate. Well, now you just won the queen because he undermined that pawn that was defending him. Look at this. Look at this, folks. Unbelievable. Now that the black queen's hanging, right? So you stop the mate, boom. And you lose the queen just like that. Isn't that pretty? All right, anyway. Here it says, okay, here it goes, look, when, we'll go back a little here, on move 13, right, queen to e2, g6 could have been played, okay, instead of blocking with the queen, right, g6 could have been played, so now there's no mate down here, see, alright. So he prevents the mate, but now you bring the other rook into the game, and they give d5 to get ready to bring out the light square bishop. and then you get a rook lift to d3. Maybe he's going to swing it over to f3, and you know, it just says it's here g6, rook to d1, pawn to d5, and then rook to d3 is better, but white's position is tremendously strong. Okay, I mean, here you go. Look, he's going for that. He's going after the exchange. All right, big deal. Here we go. I don't know. Where does he want to go? He's moving it over here. He gets the king to safety. So, I don't know. It's a game. I don't know. It's a game still, right? It actually puts black up. Look at this. It puts black up quite a bit. He's almost up 2 pawns, right? And I mean, look at this. It's, yeah, he's actually up the 2 isolated D pawns. All right, so I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. That's one way it could have went. But, okay, here we got Morphy plays to develop his knight. Here we go, all the way back here after queen takes. Morphy plays to develop his knight to a more natural square. Okay? What does he do? He plays c3, hoping if he takes, he comes right to c3. Look at this. That would be the natural move, right, folks? And then you're gonna leap on to d5, harass the queen. Maybe you capture the b5 pawn. I don't know. But I mean, look at this. Where does it go from here? Queen takes. All right, queen takes. You're threatening to check on the dark diagonal there, right? Check the black king. You're threatening to check over here, but now black stops you, right? Because what could you do if it's something like this? What could you do? You're busted, right? Because if you move, it's mate, like we've seen. And I mean, what's this doing, right? You're just prolonging it. He can't even block here because it's going to be mate, right? They're the patterns, folks. These are the patterns to know. All right, so he tries to stop you like this. All right, you win here. All right, here he comes out with this. All right, so whatever, right? He can't castle. He's got a castle by hand, so the tempos it takes him to do that, maybe you could whip up a strong attack. You got the initiative, right? So, I mean, yeah, you're forking the rook and the bishop, and he goes here for now. Now at least you take with check. See, he's opening up. He's opening up the F file. Look at the black queen on B6, aiming down at F2, folks. But we get to take with check, luckily. Okay. And he can't do anything but trade. I don't know, what's he like? He likes this one now. All right, whatever, right? There we go. Double the rooks. All right, so there's the game, and we're up a pawn, right? We're up an extra pawn. All right, so anyway, but here they say they leave one. No, this is what Morphy plays, right? Now, Anderson doesn't take, allowing Morphy the speedy development, bring that knight right out. Okay, but here we go. There was another note. It says a game. Bird Steinitz, 1867, continued. Queen to e2, threatening mate on e8, like we've seen. And instead of this, he plays this right away, g6. And then you get the knight coming here, coming to d2. See this? Coming to d2. That was another game. Bird versus Steinitz. Okay. So let's go into the Morphy game, right? Anderson takes back, like we said. C3 is played, but Anderson doesn't take. He, what does he do? He plays, yep, he gets ready to bring out the bishop. D5, good move. Here we go. Anderson's not taking, so Morphy takes. All right, he's got a pawn on D4 now. Bishop comes out. And then you get the knight leaping to C3. Okay, Anderson protects b5 with a dinky pawn move, and here comes the rook up. Rook up to e5, threatening knight takes, right? Throwing h6, stupid move. Knight takes, right? We got it covered there, folks. All right. So what does he do? Anderson sees it. He brings the rook to defend. All right, here comes Morphy, adding the pressure. Queen back. Okay? Now you can't take. Okay? You can't take. Because now, well, heck, you do this move. Let's see, what if he just takes here, right? If he takes here, and you take, right? Well, now you won the exchange. So wait a minute. Let's take with the bishop first. You take here, he takes there, right? And it's too early. It's too early. He retreats, and then he's up a piece. He's up a piece, folks. Look at this. So you can't take. You can't take yet. Bishop takes, and you're good. I mean, if you go here, he takes, you take. All right. That's the better way to go. But black, I think black gets out of it here. All right. So anyway, what's the evaluation after all this? It's pretty even. Under a pawn. Really no advantage, no win. It's pretty even. Okay, so after the queen moves back, now they're saying, let's see what the engine is saying. Queen here, right? And now he's winning by quite a bit. Black's up 1.35, so it's over a pawn. Takes, right? You take, he takes, you take, he takes, you come down, he comes up, you take here, he takes there, and what do you got, folks? Pretty much, you know. Looks like, look, there's a mate threat. Is that right? Yeah, he takes the pawn, and now there's a mate threat. He's got to stop that. He could come down to d2, right? Why give the check first? Wait, he's on d4, my mistake. Why give the check first and let him come out? You know, he comes over here. All right, he wins it this way. He wins the a pawn. All right. But what if you just come right down? Let's see. You come right down, hitting b2. He's going to hit b7. And he'd rather protect it than to take here. All right, so comes up. So now if he goes after this, there'll be check at least, right? You take with check. The subtleties of chess, folks, there's another example, right? And now we'll win this one. So even though he gets that one, you got the 2 off already on the queen side. There's nothing stopping black now. See the difference? Let's just go over that again. Look, if you come down here, sometimes, many times, you want to just come to the 7th and keep the enemy king where he can't get up. You know, you restrict him to the back rank. But now he goes on the offense with his rook over there. See, you take, he takes with check. He takes with check. You see? And then he, oh, look, your B pawn is pinned, right? All right, so he passes because he can't take. And he loses this way, right? These are those little tactical rook maneuvers and pawn maneuvers, right? So he'd have to pass. All right. Black's still better because he's got the 2 over there. But, you know, like I said, pawn and rook endgames, they're tough. But no doubt, the check is better for black. Look at this. You try to save this. He's going to take it with check, right? He's going to take it with check. You can't go over here. He takes it with check, right? And then he takes you with check. But now you come up to e6, and look at this. a6 is, hey, it doesn't matter. You give the check here, doesn't matter. Your rook on a2 is protecting the a6 pawn. So that little a6, b5 pawn chain over there, those 2 pawns are safe right now. So this is good for black. All right, there's some subtleties. But anyway, let's get back to our game. The bottom line is after the queen goes to e7, you can't jump the gun and take. Alright, so what does Morphy do? Morphy brings move 17. He brings his, look, again, Shredder doing the same thing. He doubles up them rooks on the e-file. Of course, right, folks? Common procedure. Alright, now, here you got Anderson playing G5 question mark. G5! It is difficult to comprehend this move from a player of Anderson's strength, when one step less with the pawn was so clearly better. Right here, folks, go with it. Go right here. Why aren't you going to make room for your king to go to G7, double up your rooks? He's castling by hand, right? I mean, what is there here, folks? What is there? I mean, can you win the D pawn now? Right? If he takes here, he's on your queen, right? I mean, you take here, he takes there. We take here, he goes there. Alright, so now we got the two. Now it's similar. I mean, we get in this pawn. He's going after our B pawn. You know, so what could you say? Now it's with, they both have two rooks on the board, and it's a pawn endgame, right? The two rooks. So I don't know, right? You're still premature to grab this, right? If he takes here, and you take, he takes, this is the same thing, right? It's the same thing. I don't know. Transposed, or did I just play the same thing? I can't even remember. He takes there, right? You can't take with the rook, because then you get mated, right? Alright, so you take there. What if he takes with the rook? Does that make sense? Oh yeah, then he loses. Then he loses the exchange, right? I mean, it's all on how you do it, right? I'm looking at it quick, folks. All right. So anyway, he can't jump in, obviously, because the bishop takes, right? So, all right. So what does he do? What does Morphy do? Right now, wait a minute. I gotta remember, folks. We gotta take back G6 because Anderson again played G5. Okay, he played G5. Now, look at Shredder with the idea. Here's an idea to start chiseling away at the queenside pawns, right? Now, I don't know if this really is good. I didn't look so much at it. Okay, and then the knight goes back. Okay, maybe that's something different. You know, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I don't even know. Okay, but let's see what Morphy plays. He doesn't push A4. He plays the queen back. Plays the queen back. It says here, if the knight was to take now, it says not knight takes pawn because it'll reply queen to D6. Now, what's funny is when I was going over this with Shredder, I think bishop takes is better. Because no matter what, it's similar to what we looked at, except the pawn was on G6, right? Maybe that makes a difference. Let's see. I don't know. We take here, he takes there, you take this one, we take that one, right? He comes up to get the king rook in the game. And I don't know. At this point, you know, what's going on here? Can he take this? Can he take the 7th rank here, maybe? All right. Well, it's a whole other game. All right, we got the hogs on the 7th, folks. So I don't know. Matter of fact, what if we trade? Oh, he goes for B. He goes for B2. He grabs B2. All right. All right. So anyway, yeah, I don't think you could trade yet. I don't think you could. I mean, I don't think you can take on D5. You know, you just take with the bishop. I mean, we just looked at it, right? You can't go here. Remember, folks, there's a mate. Your back rank. You can't take like that. I don't know. If you take first over here, and he takes down there, and we take back, and he takes here, now our queenside pawns are busted, right? He comes up. Again, similar, but we don't have any advantage. Why would we release the tension, so to speak, folks? Why would we do that? We had black under the gun, really. He's fighting, you know, to save his d5 pawn. We're jumping the gun here. Now they're saying to play queen to d6, but now look, you take with the rook, right? And if he takes here, like the engine wants to get the check on f3, this is a big move now. Watch this, because, I mean, first of all, if he comes, let's see, if he comes here, you come down with the check, he goes here, right? You take with check, he comes over, you check again. If he comes over, what are we gonna, we're gonna bring the rook down. He threatens me on the back rank. Remember, we got back rank weakness, but look, does he have time, folks? Check. Oh, wow, the queen covers c1. The queen covers c1, check. See that? All right, he's busted. But now, let's just look at this again. On the check, on f3, they want king over here. Well, now we go in with the knight. He comes up. We check this way. He goes there. We check. Only move. Rook over, threatening rook h3 mate. Right? All right, only way to prevent it. What else can he do, folks? Right? He's trying to stop rook h3 mate. All right, now. We got, look, we can't play this. We would win black's queen. Or we can't, okay, we'd have to take this way. If we take this way, he comes down with mate, folks, right? Okay, so we'd have to take this way. Now it's queen against two rooks, so I don't know. Still looks like white's better. He's going to pick up some of these pawns. But let's make an escape square for the white queen. Got to try to stop the mate. Look at this. I don't know, what is there? What else is there? Let's just say he takes here, right? We get the check, all the same, right? Get him to the dark squares, right? Get him to, where can he go, folks? If he goes over here, we take with check anyway. All right, we go here and it's mate. The idea now, we get him to the dark squares, we take that queen with check. Get it? All right. Check him again. And no matter where he goes, if he goes here, it's checkmate. Right? If he goes here like before, beautiful. Here are the patterns, folks. More patterns to store in your memory banks. All right? You build up these patterns, and this is how you find you checkmate your opponent. This is beautiful stuff, right? I mean, this G4, if he doesn't do that, I mean, if he goes here, you know. What if you do this, right? He blocks. You check, he has to take, you come down with the queen on f3, mate. Right? There you go, another procedure. Alright, so anyway, alright, so what else can he do? Where else is he going, right? If he goes over, okay, he goes over, oh, now the rook comes in the game, right? Oh, and then he goes here, he's got no other square, right? What's he going to do? If he goes here, the queen comes in, right? Goes there. The queen is pinned. Look at this. He takes. We take here, he takes. They're really dancing nice now, folks. Now we're going to win the rook on h8. Look at that. All right, there you go, right? Beautiful stuff. So, as you can see, go back. We take with check. He's giving up the queen, see, to the knight fork, folks. All right, he comes up. We take, he takes. We check here. All right, he he maintains both rooks, but I think the queen's better now. She's going to pick up some of those pawns, pick off some of those pawns. Alright, like this one. He's got to protect A6. You check over here. Alright, here she comes. Here she comes, folks. He goes a check. Check. Now, once he goes to the back rank, the rooks aren't linked up anymore. You got to watch out. Now, look at that. I'm pressuring to take that guy. Alright, he comes over here. Pawn's marching in, folks. It's marching in. Look at this. You block out the rook. Alright, protect the back rank. Whatever, right? We get our queen. Take your pick, black. Take which rook you want. I mean, which rook do you want to capture? Which queen, right? Which queen do you want to take with your rook? Alright, he takes this one, I take that one. Alright, there you go. Game over, right? I'll tell you, this stuff is beautiful. Alright, so let's go all the way back. Okay? So he can't do this. He can't do this with the, look, you take, he can't, moving the queen to D6 fails to this. Once he takes, you get the queen check on F3 and it's all over. It's no good. Alright, so, one thing now, what about queen takes here? Right? What about queen takes? Because doesn't this just transpose? If I was to take the queens, right? It doesn't matter now. I mean, you know, where are we? Where are we going here? What's going on? Right? It's a rook and pawn endgame. Looks like a draw to me, right? So okay, so now they give a check. They give a check. King over. The failure of G5. Okay. Queen over, and it's not as devastating as the other lines, but looks like it's winning for white. What happens if he takes here? Alright, you're threatening, you're taking and threatening a check on E7, right? So he's got to protect E7 now. Alright, so who knows at this point? Looks like white's better. The black king's in an awkward position. His rooks aren't linked up. You know, white's definitely got the better position here. Okay, it's a little awkward for black. His king position. Okay, so anyway, and we're up 2 pawns at this point, right? At the glare. Let me move this. The sun's shining on the screen. Oh, we're up 1 pawn. Okay, we're up a pawn, 5-4. And the black's pawn, the kingside pawns are isolated. All right, so I don't know about this queen D6 move, the old masters give. I think bishop takes is better. Okay, look at the evaluation immediately. Basically, is even 0.05, right? All right. So anyway, after G5, no, we can't take this. I believe because bishop takes, not like the old masters recommend, queen to D6. Okay. All right, but here we go. After G5, Morphy doesn't go in for the pawn. He brings the queen back to D1. Queen back to D1. Okay, and now we got Anderson with queen to F6. And look at this. Queen rook. I mean, you know, that's this guy. Rook E1 to E3. Right? Rook lift, baby. All right, now, here's a blunderous move. You see Shredder saying king to G7. The old masters give perhaps even just G4 is better than what Anderson does. Here's what Anderson does. he protects his G-pawn, I guess. He puts the rook on G8. And look at the blunder, folks. Look at the blunder. You take, right? Now, obviously, if you take here, you win. You win the queen for the two rooks. Here, you attack E6. And I mean, you know, it's still a little fight, but you know, white's clearly better. He's got the queen for the two rooks, and then he still has the knight, right? He's still got the extra piece in a sense. The queen is equivalent to the two rooks, you know, and he's got the knight. He's got the extra piece in a sense, right? So he can't just take with the queen. Now, obviously, you say, well, why not just take with the pawn? Well, there you go, folks. He pins the queen to the king. You see this? All right, so now he's going to, there you go. You take with check. All right, and here we go. We have it again, right? Queen for the two rooks plus the knight, right? There you go. All right, so anyway. So it's game over, folks. After rook over, right? After rook to G8, rook takes bishop, and Anderson resigned. The rook cannot be captured. Anderson shows none of his high talent in this game. He just had a blooper game, you know. He had one of those games. He didn't find the best moves. And this move at the end was just, you know, what are you going to do? It happens to the best of us. Rook to G8. All right, so that concludes game 52 in the book. 52, the third match game, right? Let me see here. Let me make sure, right? Yep. Game 52, the third match game. So Anderson won game 1. Game 2 of the match was a draw. And here you got Morphy grabbing game 3. So here we go. Is Morphy going to be on a roll, right? He lost the first game. And then he turns it around. All right, we'll see what's going to happen. But you got to stay tuned, folks. Please continue to check in with me. I'm going to try to get these done as fast as I can. I know I've been taking a long time doing these. I'm like a one-man project here. It's not easy. It's not easy. I got kids. I got the wife, you know. I got the mortgage, the job. I just do this for the love of the game. All right, for the love of the game. All right, take care now. See you soon.